going to bring you along for a little chat about canning and the differences between a pressure canner and a water bath canner, as well as the differences between hot packing, raw packing, and especially when it comes to meats and even beans. So today's chat's going to be mainly about low acid foods, but definitely always get a resource library going, whether it be online or, you know, you have to have the handheld. I've got, this is Putting Food By, and this is a great book. You can go on Amazon and get that. I've got the Amish Canning Cookbook, which has got some great recipes in there. A home style or home preserving Bible. And it's not just about canning, but it certainly is a great resource to have on hand, as well as the newer ball canning book, the older ball canning book, which I've got something earmarked here. What is it? Oh, it looks like those pumpkin pickles. So, anyways, I made those for you. You can go back and check that link. And then I've got this ball canning book, and it's a new kind of, it's got some really good recipes in it, and I love this one too. But I've got my stack of resources, so if I'm not sure what I should be doing, I go ahead and pull out a couple of those and just flip through and see the differences between the books, and then make my own judgment call. So all of you wanted to know the differences between the canned chicken. So here they are. And they do look a little bit different in the jar. For one, this was packed, raw packed, and no liquid was added. This one, most people add just plain water. I made bone broth and added that in there. So the flavor is out of this world. I don't think that I'll raw pack chicken like this again. It's hard to get the sediment off the jars. You can see little pieces of sediment that are on the jars. These pieces stay loose and they don't crumble as badly in a recipe. So this, though, absolutely is fantastic for chicken salad or something where you need some real shredded chicken, even chicken tacos to die for. So it's just a time constraint. It's easier and faster to do the raw pack, but this, the finished product, I can have a quick pot of soup in no time with homemade stock. So, beans. Now this, I just pulled out some pork and beans. And this recipe comes from the ball canning book. Delicious. Tastes just about like what you're used to from the store-bought canned pork and beans. Only you know exactly what's in it. There's not a paragraph after pork and beans. So, beans are a low-acid food. They have to be pressure canned, and you basically pressure can them the same length of time as you do meat, and meat is for 75 minutes for a pint, and then 90 minutes for a quart. Same with beans. Now you can dry can or dry pack beans. You have to be very careful of your measurements though, because beans were going to absorb that liquid and swell, and I've done it many times. It comes out fantastic, but for this recipe I follow the ball canning book exactly. So meats. Now this is beef, and this beef I actually did it in pretty big chunks, and I par cooked it on the grill, so it's got some grill flavor in there. And I added beef stock. It is by far, out of all the meats that I can, the beef, the elk, and the venison are unbelievably delicious. Chicken is really good too, but I'm telling you, this is one of my favorites. And then here I raw packed some corned beef, and this is from 2011. I've got a recipe coming up that I just used this in, and I'm telling you, it is the best corned beef. And you don't really, I mean, none of the spices get overpowering. It just tastes like you slow cooked it all day. So it's fast food my way. The advantages to raw packing opposed to hot packing is time constraint. But the end result is, if the flavor is better, why wouldn't you take the extra step? That's my opinion. So I get questions all the time. Can I put that in a big pot, and how long would I boil it for? And those are valid questions for somebody that doesn't know anything about canning. And the answer for low acid foods, that's why you want one of these books, so you get a guideline. There's always a chart. Is absolutely not. Granted, our great-grandfathers and their fathers, you know, preserving meat and stuff, if they didn't dry it or cure it, they boiled the tar out of it in a canning jar and preserved it that way. But for safety guidelines, you really have to pressure can it. It's the only way to kill botulism. Boiling water only gets to 220 degrees, and to kill botulism, you need to be up to 240. And you cannot get a pot of boiling water that hot. So you need that pressure. And then the other popular questions have been about the lids and my opinions on the new lids and my opinions on Tattler lids. I personally love Tattler lids. I've had a couple fails, but honest and truly, even with the regular lids, I've had fails. So I've had jars completely fail for no reason. The whole bottom pops out in a water bath canner. So, you know, you can take all the precautionary steps and you're still going to have a fail, just like in the manufacturers, they have fails. If you've ever seen a seam split on a can of canned goods that hasn't even expired yet, that's a fail. I am of the opinion the BPA-free Tattler lids are the healthiest option, and once you get to know how to use them, you're good to go. And I always, let's say I canned this morning, before it needs to be refrigerated, but it's cool enough and settled enough that I can handle it, I take that lid or ring off and I pick it up by the Tattler lid. If it comes loose, and that happens, food gets up under there during the canning process, I just pop it in the refrigerator and I use it as soon as possible. Same with any of the meats. But I also check my lids for the regular canning jars. You want to make sure that they're all sealed. I still use regular canning jar lids. And most oftentimes, if I'm not going to give it away, I'll use all Tadlers, or I'll use a combination of both. And it's kind of an insurance policy for me. I have a little bit of both. And I used to be in the habit of every time I went to the store and passed by the canning aisle, I would pick up a package of lids. And I've even ordered a big sleeve of bulk lids. And beans that I kind of quit doing that about a year and a half ago. But I've probably got enough lids to last me for the next 5 years. And they are the old lids. So I'm not purchasing any of the new lids from Ball or Kerr. There are other companies out there that still are making them the way Ball and Kerr used to make them. So you can research that on your own. And I hope that I've answered some of your questions. So if there's something that you'd like me to videotape, either a canning project that we can do together, or you have some more questions that you'd like answered on a video, I'd certainly be happy to help any way I can. And I'm telling you, if you get started canning, be careful, because it's kind of addicting. It's very therapeutic. It's absolutely wonderful. You are so satisfied to know what you've put in this jar. Nobody else put anything in here. There's not a giant list of ingredients. It's called chicken. That's it. So as long as you're buying the healthiest chicken you can afford, you've got it, or whatever it might be. We've got elk, venison, rabbit. You can do rabbit the same way. Any meats are considered the same way. So I highly recommend get yourself some resources so you can fall back on that anytime you want, and get to canning, because it's absolutely fun and delicious. Don't forget, I've got a bunch of recipes that I'm starting a series on how to use your home canned products. I quite often use them, but I'm going to categorize this in a playlist so you'll be able to go just basically run right to that playlist if you've missed any of them. And some creative ways to use this, as well as just some standard quick and easy weeknight meals that take less than a half hour. Okay, so I can't wait to see you next time. If you're not a subscriber, I hope you hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up for canning, and share this on your Facebook page, because a lot of people are very interested in this and getting away from canned products anything in a tin, and or, you know, wanting to be in control of the ingredients, which we should be. I don't know when we decided that we should give the control of what goes in our bodies to somebody else. It just doesn't make sense to me, but that's okay. It doesn't have to. All right, guys, enough of me and all about you. I love you guys, and I can't wait to